Before the duo can leave to pursue Rudolph once more, Yukina offers her blood to Kojo so that he can transform into a true vampire and use his powers. Kojo is reluctant at first, but he has no choice considering the situation they were in. So he hugs Yukina because for some reason he needs to get horny before he can feed on blood. Then with one bite, he sucks some of Yukina's blood from her neck. Elsewhere, Rudolph and his homunculus enter the Foundation with explosions happening left and right. They were making a grand villain appearance. The relic Akka treasure Rudolph was walking about turns out to be a hand of a saint from Rudolph's church. Apparently this relic was the reason that the island had stability, as it was a sacrifice given to the heretical god according to Rudolph, who helped the designer build the island. Rudolph wanted to exact revenge by taking the relic with him, which would make the island crumble and fall, killing millions living there. However, our heroes cannot have that, and with the newfound power, actually the old power that Kojo can now control, that to beat up Rudolph and his homunculus they don't kill them. However, because heroes are always good for some reason, Kojo uses one of the familiars under his control to beat the villain with a single shot, even uses his powers to make sure that a starter would survive by taking the familiar fused with her under his control. Later that day, Yukina is packing her stuff and getting ready to leave when Kojo comes to ask why she was doing so. Apparently, Yukina thinks she had failed her purpose by befriending Kojo instead of observing and perhaps killing him. But soon she gets a package with her broken weapon fixed, which makes her believe that she was meant to stay back a little while longer. Elsewhere in Utogami Thuria, anthropic sympathizers of the Black Death Emperor faction terrorist organization begin to operate within the city. However, they do not realize that Origami is filled with people who seem to have a hero complex, as this time Natsumi the attack mage comes to thwart their plans. She is revealed to be the Witch of the Void. But we don't know what that means just yet, so let's just ignore it as she beats up the monster and ties him up for the cops to take in the following day. Natsuki also manages to figure out that the terrorists were after a long-lost weapon called the Nala Kuvra. Back at their school, students prepare for the upcoming Sci-Fi Academy Ball Sports Tournament, and Asagi is paired with Kojo for the badminton event. As Kojo heads to meet with her at the event, he is attacked by two metal lions. They don't seem to be as tough as they look and are easily beaten with the help of Yukina. It turns out that the monsters were actually there to deliver an invitation letter to Kojo. Kojo had been invited to the yacht of the newly arrived representative of the first progenitor named Lord Ordeal. To add to the spice, the man had not only invited Kojo but also asked him to bring a +1. While his first choice would have been Asagi, he cannot let her know of his secret identity and so is forced to take Yukina with her. Not the yacht. Yukina and Kojo are confronted by Ordeal and his bodyguard and assistant Sayaka Kirasaka, who turns out to be an old friend of Yukina from the Lion King Academy. Sayaka is a feminist and not the good kind. She is the kind of feminist who hates all men, and in this context, she hates Kojo the most. She seems to have some repressed feelings towards Yukina for sure. If you think she is weird, wait till you hear about Ordeal. Ordeal takes the two inside and reveals that he was in love with the last fourth progenitor man since Kojo was the new one. He was in love with him too. Now, if that's not says, I don't know what is. Ordeal then comes to the point and discusses the new threat posed by international terrorist Christoph Kardos and his organization. Kardos was probably coming after Ordeal since he killed their ex-leader, and he wanted Kojo to deal with the threat for him. He blackmails them, explaining that if he was dead, his familiars would destroy the entire island, having no other choice. Kojo and Yukina visit Natsuki in her office, learn that Astarte is now employed as her maid, and discuss of polar terrorism and the ancient weapon known as Knowledge Kuvra, which the terrorists are after. However, not so many thinks that they should not waste their time searching for the weapon, as no one has ever been able to use it and no one will probably be able to use it ever as well. Still suspicious that perhaps this weapon has a hidden secret, Kojo goes to Asagi and asks her to research the weapon using her influence at the government office and her hacking skills. All of this is washed by Sayaka, who was enraged, believing that Kojo was juggling two girls at once and betraying her friend Yukina when Kojo was alone on the roof. And enraged Sayaka confronts and assaults Akatsuki atop the school roof. Just as Kojo releases his powers, Asagi comes in and notices all of this unfold before her. Thanks for watching.